What's cracking, everybody? What's cracking? Here we are, new video. And so all of a sudden, there's a hot topic. And I feel like it's kind of convenient, but I have to be honest, I haven't seen the video that people are all of a sudden wanting to react to. And rather than go and look at the video, because I don't know where to find it, nobody sent me the timestamp, but I'm seeing other people are taking like a 10-second clip. And I feel like whenever somebody is saying something, if you're going to show it, you really should show a good 3 minutes of it so we can get the what led into it, what was said, what was after it. And I don't see that being done. So rather than me trying to do that, I'll just go ahead and bring the man on. What's cracking? How you doing, Hector?
What up, man? What's good, dude?
I'm always trying to be fair with everybody, and I see, I don't know, and I already told you. So he and I haven't even discussed it. I just pulled him on right now, and I said, look, I want this to be authentic. I want him to be able to say what he said and what was the context, and then everybody is gonna make up their mind regardless. But I feel like this is the fairest way to do it, man. So go ahead, Hector.
For sure, dude. Yeah, you just hit me up right now. I was chilling on the couch. You're like, you want to do this? Yeah, dude, let's knock it out. And you're right, bro. Straight shooting from the hip, authentic. Um, Somebody gave me a heads up the other day that hey, there's a video floating around of you, a clip. There's a clip, which is already a red flag. A clip floating around of you where you said all paisas or chomos or something along those lines. And when I saw it, it's just one of those things like, oh God, here we go. Right. Whatever. Number one, I'm not that important of a guy to be making clips of me. Trust me. um, and if I can remember, you guys got to understand, man, I say a lot and I say a lot fast. And I also joke, man. I incorporate humor into this content and stories. So if I can remember clearly of what it had to have either been had to have been alive because that's when I'm more loose with it. And it would had to have been something along the lines where because race in California prisons always get brought up. Um, we all know blacks, whites, Mexicans, and others. And if I can remember, right, because I have a horrible memory, it had to do with something maybe about protecting yourself against inmates and the different groups, the different races, and how they can all jump you. And when I came across, I might have said, except for the paisas, they're all child molesters, anyways. Ha ha ha. Right. If that. I don't know if you want to chime in there, what I meant by it. Do I
Well,
mean it
here's a
wholeheartedly?
so here's the thing, because I don't agree with that. Paisas sell up with Southerners, and Southerners check paperwork. So not always, they don't always sell up with Southerners, but they're under the same umbrella.
So you guys have to understand, I did 8 years on the GP side and then 8 years on the
Mm-hmm.
wacky wild wild west. And when a
Uh-huh.
lot what I speak of from, I'm speaking from the wild wild west,
Mm-hmm.
I'm speaking from SNY, EOP, weird stuff, bizarro stuff, transgenders. That's where
Mm-hmm.
I speak from. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
people misconstrue and they're like, nah, they don't get down like that on the GP. I'm like, yeah, I know that,
Mm-hmm.
but that's not what I'm referring to.
And that's part of it. And see, that's right there when so that's good. So here's some clarification, because and I know on a main line, the Paisa sell up with the Southerners and they're gonna check the paperwork. It's not gonna
Yeah,
happen.
I mean, I don't feel like I have to go on record to say that I knew
Exactly.
a lot of solid paisas, quote unquote solid. And when a former correctional guard says solid, it means very respectful. They had
Mm-hmm.
some influence amongst their people, and let's be real, the motherfuckers like to clean. They'll clean the area up. Everybody likes
Yes.
to clean area. So yeah,
Okay, cool. So I mean, that's pretty much it. And it is unfortunate, man, and I honestly, the way YouTube is going right now, the way it's been, I think had you even prefaced that joke with that statement, they
yeah.
still would have clipped it.
Another question that gets brought up is, hey, do those type of individuals, right, the ones that mess with kids, do they have a stereotype? Do they have a characteristic? And I mean, to be real, if you ask anybody, I mean, they're older white guys, and there's
Hmm.
paisas.
Hmm.
In reality, on an SNY yard, you look,
Hmm.
you see them right there. And now, is it all of them? No, that will be a blanket statement.
Hmm.
Um, is there You know what I mean? Is there wobblers? Of course, there's wobblers and everything, but I'm just saying the older white creepy guys and some paisas that you check and you look like, damn, LNL.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just from my experience in 16 years, dude, working down south. You know what I mean? Like,
Well,
it's a lot of relief.
and if we're gonna keep it 100% real, without saying which groups or which
Right.
factions with which ethnicities, it's common knowledge that there are certain groups where even on the GP, those people are on the yard, rapists and chomos. Their group
I know that.
doesn't deal with them.
Well,
So, but yeah,
I'm
when you say you were, so I'm just glad to hear because again, I didn't see it, and I'm not going to justify it for
mhm.
any man. That's why I wanted him to come on here, and that's
I'm
why
gonna
Go ahead, go ahead.
I'm gonna stir the pot here when I shouldn't, but I mean, I feel like we have to in a way. You're right. On GPRs, there are certain groups that do not check paperwork, and I see the banter going back and forth, right? And everybody did their time different in every places, and but I can honestly tell you from my experience, true story. I'm gonna fucking say it. It's the truth, man, because I'm not gonna hold back. I'm not gonna pull back any punches. On shouldn't even say where. There's a GP yard, GP. There was a black dude with definitely an R on his jacket,
Mhm,
definitely.
mhm.
And his 115 history, the dude was getting caught with other men, and the SEALs were writing him up. I didn't even know they used to write dudes up like this back in the day
Mhm.
for doing what they were doing. And I'm like, what the hell? So yeah, that's the truth. And now I don't know how it gets down in high desert. I don't know how it gets down in
Well,
Folsom.
and so for me, because this is a trip because I'm speaking from the blue side, he's speaking from the green side, meaning convict and guard side. Um, and what I want to make sure that when he makes that statement, I want to put my 2 cents in. So with the blacks, they're very fractured. So if that dude was a Crip, the Bloods wouldn't have any say so on his status, neither would the Kumis, as well as other Crip factions, or if he was a Blood, because I don't want to just have it, oh, why he's got to be a Crip. Any black group he was a part of, it would be that group's responsibility.
He
So,
was
but I mean, I hear what you're saying.
he was OG. He was OG, man. Fucking one of those numbers in the beginning. You know what I mean? One of
Mm,
those first letters. But dude
yeah,
had been
from the
around.
C.
Um, Big motherfucker too, dude. Swole. Um, and that dude was respectful to me. Once I read that file, though, I was like, every time he would say what's up to me, I could be kind of like a little weary. You know what I
Mhm,
mean? But I mean, it is
mhm.
what it is. I wasn't there to judge. It's like whatever. Um, but on the flip side of that, if we're gonna keep it 100% honest, Sentinel State Prison, 2009, 2010, when it flipped, the yard flipped from level 3 to level 4, Charlie Yard, there was a Southerner, level
Mhm.
4, that had
Absolutely.
bad charges. And when we brought him into the sergeant's, I was a brand new CO. When we brought him into the sergeant's office, we said, "Are you going to be okay to stay here?" He goes, "Yeah, well, I'm going to be okay to stay here." And the dude
Mm.
stayed there.
Wow.
I remember his last name too.
Mhm,
I don't remember exactly what those charges were because
mhm,
back then was the C files. So there was no way I was going to walk up to records to go look at the C files. It
mhm.
got a lot easier when you got that on the computer. Um,
I mean, I don't know who the person is, but I will say this: I personally saw an individual. He was a Southerner, and he had something on his jacket. However, it was cleared because what had happened was him and his homies pulled a train on someone on a chick that was from a rival neighborhood,
yeah,
and she looked at it as gangbanging, and she actually said they raped her, but her
yeah.
own homeboys spoke up for the dudes, and in the joint they got a pass. So it has. I don't know if it's that dude. I don't know,
No,
but
what I think,
for a Southerner, it's extremely rare. But
what
every faction, dudes they'll try their luck.
You're right. So there's different levels to what we are talking about right now.
Mhm,
And you're right about the train, but also
mhm,
another big one, and for the Southerners, is if a dude is like 18 and the chick is 17, the
mhm,
the mom will call the cops on the dude, and I've seen it on the paperwork,
mhm,
and say, "Hey, this guy, he's and then you get an R on your jacket for that.
mhm.
You absolutely do. So I think that might have been the case with this dude, right? And
Yeah.
I don't want to dive in further, but yeah, there's other now the other guy that I told you about, the other dude, that was a straight R, man. That was a straight
No,
R.
no. I mean, I told the story. I believe. I mean, it doesn't matter. The statute of limitations is over. I had a dude hit in my building in New Folsom and 3 building, and he had that case, and he was actually running around trying to get away, and they were stabbing him. He was running around the day room screaming, "Why am I getting whacked?" And he was a chomo. So it happens, it happens. But I just wanted to make sure because, I mean, I fuck with Hector. I game with Hector. I'll talk to
Yeah,
we
yeah.
text. You know what I mean? And I feel like you know the things that Hector is trying to do with his videos and exposing the CDC for what they really are and the corruptness and all that. I applaud that. And so I felt it would be a damn shame if this is something that's taken out of context and then people start saying, man, fuck that dude, because it doesn't take away from what you are trying to expose is some legitimate shit that we all should know about and be concerned about.
No, I mean, and again, I am Mexican, man. It would be like I'm
Mhm,
talking shit about my own heritage. I mean, both my
mhm,
grandparents are come from Mexico. You know what I mean?
mhm,
But and then you got me thinking now. When I was a lieutenant at Donovan, one of the last files that I read, and I stopped reading files because of this reason. They were grotesque. They were not
mhm,
good.
mhm,
One mother, a mom, she was a hard worker. She let her freaking 5-year-old, 6-year-old kid, the neighbors across the street, they were paisas. I think that's the one I read from. I had to have read his thing, and they volunteered. Hey, we'll watch your kid while your mom's at work, or we'll watch your kid while you're at work. And next thing you know, they were doing what they were doing. So yeah, it's foul. But did I mean that? Like, did I really mean it like that? No, come on, man. Um,
mhm.
and I know you get it, but YouTube has become
I do, but
interesting.
it's you know it's to the point on YouTube, man, where there's the troll. You know, this it's an alternate universe for nerds and wimps. You know, like dudes that were never, they were on the periphery of the lifestyle, and they're mad at themselves when they see people who were like, why? Everything I did was fucked up. Everything I did was I was a failure in life when I chose to be that person. Now that I'm a success in life, people hate me for it. It's a fucking trip, but it's to the point where if you're gonna tell a story, this is how bad social media is, and especially YouTube. If you're gonna tell a story and you're gonna repeat what a person says, if you happen to slip and say I instead of he, like he said, and you say I this, they will clip it, and
Oh
it
yeah,
is something. It is your story now. It is
yeah,
you,
yeah.
but you're actually repeating what someone else said, but you didn't say he. You said I.
I
It's
don't.
a fucking weird world.
But to be honest with you, and like 'cause this is going to be shown to everybody, I don't partake in it. You know what I mean? I don't involve myself in it. I did hear that there was a video floating around or a couple.
Mhm,
I really did not bother to search because, dude, I'm doing my own thing, man. I got like things going on, so I'm not
mhm.
trying to. And I don't. I always put my best foot forward, man. Um, and what I do against the administration, I mean, that may look like a personal vendetta. That may look like, well, I don't think I'm disgruntled. It's just that, hey, it's about time that the ball turned. You know what I mean? Like that the spotlight got put on reality of what's really happening.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I don't want to make this too long. I just wanted to make sure that I gave you a fair opportunity because I know a lot of people will see this. I just got off my live about an hour ago, and there was a lot of people that asked me about it, and they said, if you cancel during my live is when I texted you. And I told him I texted him right now. I will hear
Mhm.
back from him. And so I wanted to make sure you had this opportunity. You know, the way it is, man, they make up their minds based off of other people's shit. And you know, I always say in prison, I learned very fast. Don't believe everything you hear, or you're gonna inherit other people's problems. You know, so you hear the man himself, you see where his intent was, where his heart was. And it wasn't that he was putting out a blanket statement on all paisas. They those
And
kind
I
of weirdos are in every fucking group, man.
and I wouldn't even step on those paisas' toes because I know who they run with. You know what I mean? They run
Exactly.
with some serious dudes.
Yeah, I
That's a
like my
fact.
head on my shoulders.
That's a fact.
Yeah, no, for reals. Okay, so is there anything you would like to discuss or bring up before we go? Because I kind of want to get this out as soon as possible for you, and for you know, just to the sake of that whole argument.
Nah, I mean it's cool. I mean we play Xbox together once in a while. I got to get back on it.
Mhm.
Nah, dude, I watch your stuff all the time. I was just watching your video right now. As a matter of fact, you were talking about some dude named Tiger, and you were laughing, and then I was watching
Tiger.
it.
Uh,
So nah, it's cool, man. We're having fun with it. You know what I mean? We're living
yeah.
life, dude. It's
Yes.
awesome.
Okay. I appreciate you for stopping by, and I'm glad I had the opportunity to at least put out your version, ask you a few questions, and hopefully this clarified. I know the people that hate a person, it doesn't matter what you say, but I hope everything's going good for you too, man, with your
Thank you.
family and everything
Yeah,
else.
yeah. One, I do want to say like about stereotypes and blanket statements, man. That's not. First of all, I never. Those are never my intentions. I know they're probably never your intentions. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? We speak on experiences and case by case incidents.
There it is there. Okay. All right. Thank you, Hector. All right, everybody. Everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them, man. We're
Later.
out of here.